Hello and welcome to this NDTV exclusive. Iran is very much in the news today, but we rarely get to hear directly from the Iran government on all that is unfolding in their country. We have with us Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Ali Bagheri, who's visiting here in New Delhi. Thank you very much indeed, Minister, for joining us. Sir, it's now been about 2 months since the protests have spread over the Mahsa Amini death. They show no signs of ending. In fact, they seem to be spreading. How worried is the Iranian government?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. نیا کنید انتقاد و اعتراض یکی از ارکان دموکراسی است و حتی بر اساس اعتقادات دینی ما همونطور که در قانون اساسی ما هم اومده، در واقع انتقاد نه تنها یک حق برای مردم ما بلکه یک تکلیف هست برای همه که در مقابل تحولات و پدیده ها دیدگاه و نگاه خودشون رو بیان بکنن. رو این جهت این امر یک امر طبیعی است برای یک جامعه با نشاط، جوان و آرمانخواه که در مقابل پدیده ها و تحولات مختلف نظر خودش رو ابراز بکنه. ولی اون چیزی که مهم هست این است که ما باید تفاوت قائل بشیم بین تجمعات مسالمت آمیز و تجمعات غیر مسالمت آمیز. و نکته دوم موضوعی هست که مربوط میشه به دخالت‌های بیگانگان در امور داخلی ایران و روایت سازی‌های نادرست و غلط و حتی دروغ بر اساس منافع و سیاست‌های اون دولت‌ها و بیگانگان که ما در طول سالهای گذشته شاهد هستیم که این دولت‌ها چگونه نسبت به ملت ایران عمل کردند.
Yes. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, I would like to stress at the beginning that criticism and raising objection is one of the pillars of democracy, and based on our religious beliefs that is also reflected in the Iranian constitution. This right has been given to the people to pose their criticism, and we are all duty bound to just see and listen to the different perspectives, criticism of the people, and that is one of the major features of vibrant and active society. However, we should pay attention to the difference between the peaceful assembly and non-peaceful assembly or violent assembly. And on the other hand, one other point that we need to pay attention to is the intervention of foreign powers in the internal affairs of Iran and the fallacious narratives that they are creating about the events that are in Iran, and that is in line with their own interest of these powers. And in the past years, these powers and governments, they have continued the same policy with regard to Iran.
But Minister, I know you've been saying this about the intervention of foreign powers, and the Iran government has said this in the past as well. But where is the proof? The question that the West is asking is, where is the evidence that America or the European countries are intervening in Iran?
لازم نیست شما دنبال دلیل و مدرک باشید. شما به رسانه ها نگاه بکنید. اظهار نظرهایی که مقام‌های برخی رژیم‌های اروپایی انجام میدند دقیقاً در واقع نشون دهنده دخالت اونها در این موضوع هست. نوع رویکرد و خبرسازی برخی از رسانه‌ها به ویژه رسانه‌های فارسی زبان که در لندن مستقر هستند دقیقاً این مسئله رو به خوبی داره نشون میده. شما اگر به اونها دقت بکنید قشنگ در واقع عمق دخالت اونها رو در امور داخلی ایران میبینید.
It is not difficult to look for the proof or any evidence. Just pay attention to the media that is supported by and the statements that are made by some of these Western powers. You see.
پاور من نمیگم، من میگم رژیم های اروپایی. اونجا هم گفتی پاور من نمیگم.
European regimes.
برخی از رژیم های
some of the European regimes. And you see how they are making intervention in Iran with regard to their approach and the news making that they have, especially in the Persian language media that are based in London. We see the depth of their intervention in the internal affairs of Iran.
But Minister, at the same time, when you look at the people who are protesting, these are all ordinary Iranians. I mean, you have a situation where the Iran World Cup team refused to sing the anthem. You've had the Iran basketball team, the beach soccer team, water polo team, volleyball team. They're all protesting. The women's basketball team, for example, didn't wear a hijab when they posed for their photographs. So these are all Iranians, are they not, who are protesting? And they're protesting at an international fora. Isn't that the reality?
نه نیا کنید این نکته که من عرض کردم که مردم در همه نظام‌های دموکراتیک میتونن نظرات خودشون رو بدن، ولی اون چیزی که الان مسئله هست در واقع جهت‌دهی و دخالت بیگانگان برای این در واقع نوع بیان و نظر بخشی از مردم ایران هست.
See, as I pointed out, in a democratic system, people are free to express their views, to express their objection. But what is important is the direction that is given and steered as a result of the foreign, as a result of the foreign regimes to these actions that are made by our.
شما این تجربه رو در انقلاب‌های رنگی در خیلی از کشورها داشتید که چطور در واقع غربی‌ها جهت میدن به در واقع نوع بیان و اعتراض‌های داخلی برخی کشورها.
So you have had the same experience when you take into account color revolutions in some of the countries in the world. You see how the Western regimes, they are giving special direction to the reactions of the people, the expressions of the people.
But the sense is, Minister, that the regime, that the Iranian regime, you keep blaming the West, but that you're becoming increasingly brutal in your crackdown. There are mass arrests, there are mass beatings. UNHCR estimates that 300 protesters have been killed, including 40 children. Is that number correct?
نه اصلا همچین چیزی به هیچ وجه همچین در واقع آماری در واقع صحت نداره.
No, absolutely not. Such a data is absolutely not true.
What is the official figure then? What is the official count for how many people have been killed or injured?
کمیته تشکیل شده در واقع زیر نظر وزارت کشور ایران برای بررسی این موضوع و در حال بررسی است.
So in order to come up with the true data, a committee has been established under the Ministry of Home Affairs of Iran that is making investigation in order to come up with the correct data.
ولی اون چیزی که مسلم هست این است که نزدیک 50 نیروی پلیس در این در واقع اتفاقات در ایران کشته شده و چند صد تن نیز مجروح شدن. پلیس ها.
So what it has been found is that so far 50 personnel of the Iranian police have been killed in these incidents and hundreds of people have been injured.
Okay, so you're saying there's a number for the number of police killed, but not in terms of the...
بله، و این نشون میده که این در واقع تجمعات مسالمت آمیز نبوده.
So this shows that these assemblies that you're talking about are not peaceful.
But Minister, the fact is that you don't see these protests, the fact that you see so many women now posing without their hijab across the country, a sign that perhaps women want change in Iran, that they're no longer willing to accept these diktats.
مردم در واقع برای بیان نظراتشون در ایران مانعی ندارن، میتونن نظرات خودشون رو بیان بکنن و در واقع چارچوب‌های قانونی برای بیان نظرات مردم تو ایران وجود داره.
So the people are free, they are facing no impediments in order to freely express their views and we have a legal framework for them in order to express their views and perspectives.
But you don't think this is leading to a rethink in Iran about the status of women, that women should now be given greater freedoms, that they can't be policed and be made to wear a garb in a, according to religious decrees? It's a kind of like a revolution almost.
اصلا همچین چیزی نیست. در واقع در دوره بعد از پیروزی انقلاب اسلامی زنان بیشترین پیشرفت‌ها رو در ایران داشتن. چطور میشه در یک محیط غیر آزاد زنها بتونن این همه پیشرفت داشته باشن؟ الان زنان در ایران در طول چند سال گذشته بعد از پیروزی انقلاب اسلامی یک نقش مؤثری در ارکان حکومت ایفا میکنند. بخش قابل توجهی از مدیران کشور ما الان زنان هستند. بخش قابل توجهی از اعضای هیئت علمی دانشگاه ها رو زنان تشکیل میدن. تعداد زنان در دانشگاه ها بیش از تعداد مردان هست، یعنی در واقع تو خیلی از رشته ها تعدادشون بیشتر هست و اینها نشون میده که در واقع نقش آفرینی زنان در عرصه های مختلف سیاسی، اقتصادی و اجتماعی نقش بارز هست و این بدون در واقع آزادی و اونها نمیتونن همچین نقش آفرینی داشته باشن.
So I would like to say that is not true. After the victory of the Islamic Revolution, the Iranian women have made great progress. And how is it possible? Is it possible in a place that is not free for women to make such amount of progress and development? After the victory of the Islamic Revolution, the women have played a very key role in regard to the Iranian government, and they are occupying top managerial positions in Iran.
Okay.
They are members of the academic staff in the universities. Majority of university students in Iran are women. In some specialties, the number of women outnumber men. So you see that women are playing a very active role. How is it possible? Is it possible in a non-free country for women to make such progress?
Right. So, Minister, you're saying that this is all Western narrative, that there's these protests and so on. But one of the problems is that you're not allowing the media in. You're not allowing people to come in and see for themselves what's going on in Iran. Why not allow us in?
ما رسانه هایی که در واقع آزاد باشند هیچ مانعی براشون نداریم که بیان توی ایران و دسترسی به واقعیت ها پیدا بکنن. یکی از اشکال هایی که ما داریم به رسانه های خارجی این است که اطلاعاتشون رو اونها دارن از رسانه های غربی میگیرن.
If the media are independent, we have no problem to allow them to provide them with the access to see for themselves the realities on the ground in Iran. But the problem is that some of these media are getting their information about other media that are controlled by these Western regimes.
آیا شما درخواست کردید که بیاد ایران؟
Have you made a request to go to Iran?
Yes, we have made a request for almost several weeks now.
چند هفته پیش؟
Yes.
یعنی کی؟
When? Exactly.
Some weeks ago with the embassy here.
نه ما مانعی نداریم برای رسانه های هندی برای اینکه بیان در داخل ایران و اطلاعات واقعی رو از داخل ایران در واقع دریافت کنن و اون رو به مردم خودشون در هند منعکس بکنن.
So no, we do not have any impediments for the Indian media to visit Iran and to see the realities on the ground. Not
We
to
can
reflect,
come
to make a reflection to the Indian people.
Is there any plan to talk to the... That's wonderful to hear that, and we look forward to actually following up and coming to visit. Are you talking to the protesters? Because it seems that the trigger was the death of this 22-year-old woman, that she was supposedly not wearing the headscarf, she was taken into custody. They claim she died in custody. Is the government even still willing to accept that, or you still claim that that she died of her own, you said she died of a heart attack, her family says that's not true. That was the trigger.
ارتباط وجود داره بین در واقع بخش‌های مختلف جامعه و حاکمیت. حتی برخی از مقام‌های ما در داخل دانشگاه‌ها میرن و رو در رو با دانشجویان صحبت میکنن. صحبت‌های چالشی هم با دانشجویان دارن و هیچ مانعی تو این زمینه ما وجود نداره.
So we have communication, direct communication between the people in the society and government. In some cases, the government people, they go to the universities, they freely and openly engage, frankly, with the students in the university.
With the protesters?
Yes.
That is an ongoing thing?
بله.
Yes. Okay. بله. India has so far not made any comments on what's going on in Iran. What do you make of that? Do you see India as a partner at this time?
نه، به خاطر هوشمندی دولت هند که تحت تاثیر فضاسازی برخی از رژیم‌های غربی قرار نگرفته و این نشون دهنده رویکرد مستقل دولت هند.
No, that is, I believe that is because of the smartness of the government of India. That is not under the influence of the atmosphere that is created by some power. That is as a result of the independent attitude, that perspective that the Indian government has.
So this is interesting because actually in a way, if you look at what has happened, particularly after the Russian war, India and Iran have taken a position that's not exactly the same line as the West. You are continuing to trade in oil, for example, even though there are sanctions, that continues. Is that a risk, you think? Or is that an opportunity?
Risk برای چی؟
In terms of the fact that you are going against the kind of Western consensus that you shouldn't be trading, with Iran, you shouldn't be trading with Russia, but India's doing business with both.
یا کنید ایران و هند دو کشور مستقلن. اینا تابع در واقع غربی ها نیستن که بر اساس منافع اونها یا سیاست اونها تصمیم بگیرن. ما اعلام کردیم رسما در این جنگ بی‌طرفیم، جنگ رو تایید نمی کنیم، ولی رابطه با هم روسیه داریم و هم اوکراین.
So you see, Iran and India are two independent powers. They are not following the Western regime, and because they are not taking action in line with the interests of the Western regime. We, with regard to the conflict in Ukraine, we are standing neutral, both Iran and India. We are not endorsing the conflict or the war, and we have relations with both Russia and Ukraine.
But the reports that you're supplying drones to Russia, military drones?
ما در واقع روابط متنوعی رو با روسیه داشتیم و داریم، از جمله در عرصه نظامی. قبل از آغاز جنگ تعدادی پهپاد توسط ایران به روسیه فروخته شده. این یک واقعیتی است که در واقع وجود داره.
We have we have relation with Russia in different areas. One area of our relation with Russia is defense and the military. Before the start of the war, we have supplied some limited number of drones to Russia. That is something that we have ourselves acknowledged.
Okay. Minister, yes.
این همه در واقع سلاحی که کشورهای اروپایی در اختیار عربستان قرار دادن که علیه مردم یمن استفاده کرد، یا همین کشورهای اروپایی سلاح در اختیار صدام قرار دادن که به ایران تجاوز کرد، یا همین کشورهای اروپایی سلاح در اختیار اسرائیل قرار میدن که علیه مردم فلسطین استفاده میکنه، چرا اینها در عرصه رسانه ها به عنوان یک مطالبه مطرح نمیشه که از اون رژیم ها بخوایم که چرا این کارو کردیم؟
So we have Western weapons used by the Saudi Arabia against the people of Yemen. We have Western weapons that were supplied to Saddam Hussein in their aggression towards Iran. We have Western weapons that is supplied to Israel against the people of Palestine. Why these actions are not reflected in the media? Why no objection is being raised against these actions?
Okay, we report all this, by the way. It's not that we don't do that. But Minister, we're out of time. What a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for talking to NDTV.
Thank you.
And we look forward to visiting Iran.
حتما. امیدوارم شما رو ببینم تهران.
I hope that I can see you in Tehran.
Inshallah. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.